That's right. So welcome everyone. This is my first video I'm posting on YouTube, and I'm very excited for this journey that I am starting with all of you wonderful people. Thank you for your time in coming to this video. I'm just going to introduce myself real quick. I'm Audie. This is Artsy Audie Vibes, and I just want you to, be able to enjoy this video. So yeah, on my channel mostly I will be talking about crocheting stuff and just different things like, hair tips and tricks, wool tips and tricks, a lot of tips. We're just gonna leave it at that. A lot of tips and tricks and cool tutorials and stuff to show you all what it's like to be able to do certain things. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. So today I'm just going to be going over the basic stuff you need to know about crocheting. This stuff will range on a variety of things, like abbreviations you need to know, the way you're supposed to hold a crochet hook, how to start a slip knot, or how to start certain stitches. So we're gonna get into that today, and I hope that you guys will learn a lot from this video. I do make patterns, so I will love to be sharing them with you as I learn, as I recently just started doing it. Yes. Yeah. First, getting started with the abbreviations. So, abbreviations is something that everyone needs to know when they're getting into crocheting. Now, maybe a bit boring, don't get me wrong, to be looking at a screen and it just having a whole bunch of words, but it's a part of crocheting, and crocheting may be easy to you or it may be hard, but you really never know until you try. That's why in this video I'm going to be going over the basic stuff. Yeah, there's plenty of abbreviations that you need to know. There's a lot. There's plenty, but I'm gonna give you the simple ones. Oh yeah, you're gonna look at the abbreviations. Stay dedicated and true to yourself, to who you are and what you're going to start in this crochet life, okay? It's complicated sometimes to learn, but it's worth it, okay? Just like anything else, it's worth it. You don't have to buy a plushie from the store. You don't have to buy a blanket. You don't have to buy a sweater or a cardigan, because you can make it, okay? So do it. Yeah. Basically, to get started, I'm going to show you the different materials that you're going to need. Today, I will be using this Crochet 1 pound yarn. It's very good considering the size that it is. This size is good for beginner yarn. So on the back, this will show you the recommended size that you'll need for hooks, or if you're knitting, if you want to, this is a weight for yarn, so I highly recommend it when starting off. And it comes in big things, so this actually has 812 yards in it for bigger projects. So yes, for getting started, you will need your hooks. So this one is a 3.5 millimeter hook. This one right here is a 4.5 millimeter hook. I recommend either just because this will have an outcome of a tighter look, this will have an outcome of a looser look, and it recommends a 5 millimeter hook. So this is closely to the 5 millimeter, and normally I go to size down, so I have this. But for beginners, I recommend using hooks that have this right here because it honestly guides you how to use it. For beginners, I started off with this one, so this one's easier. If you wanted, you can use a stitch marker. A stitch marker is something that marks the beginning of your stitch. This is a stitch marker. It clips in right here. So you just clip it in and then it's good. Alright, now getting started with how you hold your hooks. I see people hold it as a pencil. So like hold it as a pencil as if you're writing down, or you can hold it like this where it's like you're like using a knife. My personal way that I use it is using it like this. I just crochet like this. Really, it's your preference. Okay people, so in starting off, you always want to make sure that you create your slip knot first. So this is the yarn. You're always going to want to make sure that you basically create a slip knot. You'll put it in your hands like this. You go around, only your 2 fingers. Go around, create a X, okay? And then you go back on this side and hold it there. This side will always be 2, and this side will always be an X right here. You don't go through this side, you always go through here, okay? So now what we're gonna do is you're gonna go under and over like that. Under and over, drag it through, and slowly slip it off of your hands like this, okay? Then it will look like this. Then you will just pull this, the shorter strand, pull it to where it looks like that. Don't pull it too tight because then you won't be able to adjust it. And then you will take your longer strand right here and you will then pull that as you're holding the shorter one. You'll then pull that, not too tight though, because you always want to make sure that there's enough space to bring this through. You always want to make sure that when you're going through, you don't go through like this, or any way that won't allow you to go through. Go through like this. After you've made your slip knot, you're going to loop one around. Then you're going to pull through. So that little space right there, you're going to pull it through. Sometimes you may need to guide your fingers, but you pull it through, and that is your first chain, okay? Now you're going to do the same thing, loop over and go through the second one. That's your second chain. They look like little V's, so it's easy to tell whether that is your first or second chain. Gonna go through the third one like that. Going to loop, come through your fourth one like that. Make sure that your tension is not too tight. You don't want to pull it too tight because then there's no space to pass through, okay? You want to make sure that there's enough space to where you can loop and pull it through easily. You're gonna keep doing this until you reach 12. Alright guys, so now that you have your 12 chains, now instead of going through here, you will always want to go through the second one. So you want to go through the top one, and you're just going to go through right here like this to where you only have 2 loops on your hook. And then you're going to loop over like this. And then you're going to grab it and bring it in to here. So I always want to go in the direction that the V's are kind of pointing. So you kind of want to go like this and bring it through like this to where there's 2 loops on your hook. But then you're going to bring this loop and you're going to bring it through this stitch right here like that, and you're just going to bring it through, and that is going to be your first stitch. This bottom you don't have to worry about, but this is going to be your first stitch. You will then use a stitch marker. So you will use this. Now this is completely optional, but sometimes I may use it depending on the project. But you just go through the first and you go through the second one and you just go through, and then you clip it, and then it holds your first stitch in its place. So then you will go through the next one. You never go through the same one, you always go through the next one. So you'll go through right here, through like this. Then you will just bring this and you'll bring it through the top right there. See, that's your second stitch. And you're going to keep doing this all the way until you have 11. When you start off with 12, you'll end up getting 11. This is because when you're first starting off, you don't go through the first stitch that it's in, and you always end up with 11. So make sure that if you want 12 stitches, you start off with 13 chains. Okay, now we're on our last stitch. So you're going to go through this one right here. You're going to go through, you're going to loop around, and then you're going to bring it through the stitch right here, which it may be a little complicated because it's the first one, but you go through and then you just pull this straight through the top one, just like that. And this is how your slip stitches will look once you're done, ranging from here all the way to here. And then in the back, it will look like this. So normally this is the wrong side and this is the right side. So keep in mind that when you're doing projects, you always want to make sure that this is the right side that you're working on. So that way you could know whether to flip it or not flip it, okay? Alright everyone, so now getting started with the most used stitch in amigurumi. If you want to get started in amigurumi, I would highly recommend this stitch because this stitch is the basic stitch that you need for amigurumi, and you'll see that in a lot of tutorials. So once you've chained 12, you'll do the same thing that you did with the slip stitch. You'll go through the second loop right here. So there's a V, you always go through the top. You go in through there, so you just go through the top like this, and then you'll loop over and come through like that. And then instead of doing the slip stitch way, which is bringing it like that, you're going to loop over again, okay? And this time you're going to bring it through 2 loops. So 1, 2. That is your first stitch. This is how your first stitch will look. Keep in mind that this curve down here is not a stitch, but this V right here is your first stitch. So then you'll go through the next one. You'll go through like this, and then you'll loop over and grab it through, pull through, loop over again, and then you're going to pull through both, okay? And that is your second single crochet. You're going to do it again, go through, pull, going to bring it over again, and you're going to pull through both. So now you have 3. 1, 2, 3. Never count this. Okay, I know it's very confusing not to count that, but just think of it like every V that you see, just count those, okay? So you're going to keep doing that and you'll end with 11 single crochet stitches. Okay, so now that you've done all of that, I already did the last stitch. You're just gonna go through and do it again. But yes, now that you've done all of that, this is how your single crochet stitches will look. This is your first one, all the way to the last one. So now that you've learned how to already do your slip stitch and your single crochet, I am glad that you guys have made it this far. Now you will be moving on to the half double crochet. Alright guys, so now that you have chained 12 stitches, you will then skip 2. So unlike the slip stitch or the single crochet, instead of skipping 1, you're going to skip 2. So you're going to do 1, 2, and then you're going to go in through the third stitch. So go in through here, but first what you want to do is you want to loop around your hook first. Then you're going to go in through the third stitch. You're going to go in. You're going to come back like this, and then you're going to have 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to loop again, and you're going to pull through all 3. Make sure you pull through all 3. So 1, 2, 3. All right, get your stitch marker and put it through that stitch that you've just done, and then close it. Go through the next stitch. So this is the one that you already went through. This is the next one. First loop. Go through like this. Come back. You'll have 3 loops always. And then you'll come back like this. Yep. Loop over. Go through. Come back. You have 3 loops. Then you'll come back again through all loops. Just keep doing this until you've reached your 11. And that is how your half double crochet will look. If you want to do a row 2, make sure that you chain 2 when getting started. Just like that. Turn your piece and work through the 3rd one. So you have 2 and you're going to work through this one right here and continue that all the way till this last stitch, and you'll just continue doing that, chain 2 and then do another row, but I'm not going to do a second row on here. Okay guys, so like usual, start off with 12 stitches, and this time, instead of only skipping 2, you're going to this time skip 3. 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go in through your 4th stitch. So you're going to loop over like you do with the half double crochet, and you're going to go in through here. Then you're going to come back with another one. You're going to have 3 on here, just like the half double crochet, and this time, instead of bringing it through all 3, you're going to bring it through 2 at a time. So bring it through 1 and 2, and it's like doing a single crochet. Then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to loop over and bring it through 1 and 2, and then it's like stacking a single crochet. So then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to loop over, go through the next one right here, bring it through. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to bring through 2, 1, 2, then you're going to do another one. Technically you have 2 stitches on the top, and these don't count. So then again, you can use a stitch marker to mark your first stitch, but I'm not going to, because for this I'm going to do the same thing like with the half double crochet. I'm actually not going to be creating a second row for it, but you're going to loop over, you're going to go through, you're going to bring through, going to only go through 2 at a time, 1, 2, and then you're going to loop over and bring through another 2. You will complete this process for the next few chains until the last one. Now you've gone through the last loop. Now this is how the double crochets will look. As you can see, they're taller and these take up more space on each row. So now getting started on your last stitch, I'm really proud of you all for making it this far and really being determined in learning how to crochet. Now that you have 12 on your chain, you will then skip 4 stitches. So you'll skip 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll actually go into your 5th one right here. Okay, so you're going to loop over, but then you're going to loop over again. So instead of starting off with 1, you're going to loop over twice to where there's 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to go in through the 5th one right here. So you're going to go in, bring this through just like this, and you're going to have 4 loops on your hook. Bring it through 2 at a time. So with this triple crochet, you are going to make sure that you only bring it through 2 at a time, just like this, and then just like this. So it's like stacking 3 single crochet on top of each other. To loop around twice, go through the next one, bring around town. You have 4 on your hook, come through only 2, and then you're going to do it again, only 2, and then you're going to do it again, only 2. So it looks like this. I'm gonna loop twice, and you're just going to repeat this process all the way till you've reached the end. I finished with my last triple crochet, and now it will look like this. So as you can see, it's way much taller than any of these stitches. It's a really pretty stitch. It can be used in many different ways, but yes, this is the triple crochet, and just keep in mind that each time it's like you're stacking single crochets. So here you have your slip stitch that you did, then you have your single crochet, then you have your half double crochet, then you have your double crochet, and then you have your triple crochet. So yes, people, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I just want you to know that you are perfect the way you are, and keep doing this. It doesn't matter who thinks anything about you if you start this, but all you gotta know is that you know how to do something that other people don't. So yes, just keep doing it. Yes. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you learned something new. And please stay tuned for more crocheting videos, because I will be posting frequently on this channel. Thank you.
Bye.